Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
6:45. Reminder, we're going to hear from Simon Davies of BBC Radio Wales, the lowdown on Swansea later. Quickly mention as well, next week, Marco's off again. Lee Cattermole is going to be in the Total Sport studio next week. Well, joining us now on the line, MACKEM CABBIE. Good evening, MACKEM CABBIE.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you? You okay?
All good. All good.
How are you?
Playoffs.
I'm not bad.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
Who do you want? Who do you want?
Oh, do you know what? I didn't want Coventry. Any other team apart from Coventry, that'll do me.
You're still wounded. You're still wounded.
Do you know when you just know there's a team and Lampard? It's like it's written in the stars, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? Lampard and he's back to the Premier League and all that. I just don't want Coventry anywhere near the playoffs. No disrespect to the club, but that's just my opinion. Simple as that. But look, I will still say, well done to the lads. Youngest squad in the league, and they've reached, the playoffs. It looks like we're going to be fourth. Now I think it's a good opportunity now, isn't it, to let the players rest and we just say give, some of the young'uns a bit of a run out as well. And it's all about basically trying to keep our strongest players fitter and just go for the final push, because let's face it, it's only 3 games, isn't it, the playoffs, if we get through. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's just a good opportunity to just, let our players recover? Or, as you said before, they do need some game time, because you can't just switch on when needs to be. So it's a funny balance he's got to do, isn't it?
Yeah, you look at the remaining games. I think, the next 2 or 3 games are free hits for us. I think, the last couple, I would say, is you start to maybe giving some game time to players who you think maybe starting, in the first game in the playoffs. And, some idea what your team's going to be, and building that sort of team spirit and that team relationship.
Without doubt as well. And it seems to be going through a bit of a drought with Isidore, do you know what I mean? I'd like to see him start getting a few goals, especially just before the playoffs. It's strange what's happening with him, isn't it? It's like he's from parading his top around the riverside, and he seems to have just dried up a little bit. But I'd like to see Isidore getting on the score sheet. Does
that worry you? Because Benno said no earlier. I mean, the fact that over the last 3 or 4 weeks they've not been scoring more than 1 goal. Now going into the playoffs, do you think they really do need to be in a position where they're capable? And I think I go back to the game against Luton in the playoffs a couple of seasons ago when they only won the first leg. We only scored 1 they needed a second goal and they couldn't get it, and it cost them ultimately. Do you not think they need to find a way of scoring more than 1 in games at the minute?
It's a funny one, isn't it? But I mean, of course, it's going to massively help if Isidore starts, getting on the score sheet and getting a few 2 or 3 goals in at least, but sometimes all it takes is just that 1 goal and that 1 goal lead. But unfortunately, it's just not very good for people who's got anxiety following the club, hanging on to that 1 goal. On
the other side of the coin, they're keeping clean sheets. You keep a clean sheet. It might go to penalties, but it gives you a more than average chance to go through.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, we did it, didn't we, against, remember that time when it was 0-0 down Portsmouth? That just, all it takes is just, all you got to do is just score 1 more goal than what they do. It's easier said than done, I know, but I'm still going to go for Leeds Sunderland playoff final. How about that?
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? We talk about that we don't want Coventry. How many teams don't want Sunderland?
You don't think of that, do you? You just don't think of it that way around. It's like, it's a good point, Gary. It's like me saying, I don't want Coventry, or we don't want this and that and the other. It'd be interesting to see what the other supporters are thinking, like, oh, God, we need to avoid Sunderland, Are there actually... do they fear us? I mean, have we not really been playing some great football for them to?
Interesting, isn't it? Because Sunderland have beaten West Bromwich Albion. They beat Millwall the other week, who are outside contenders for the playoffs. They got Bristol City next week. If they win at Bristol City, you're right in saying that Sunderland are sending out a message to the other contenders that do you want to be playing us?
If you ask majority of them managers in that who's going to be in the playoffs, they're most likely say one team they don't want is Sunderland. You know, we're just saying the one team we don't want is Coventry, but a lot of them will not want to play Sunderland.
No. Excellent. MACKEM, CABBIE, thank you very much for your call. Talk to you again soon.
This is Total Sport on BBC Radio Newcastle. It's 10 to 7.